Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the D2CL. Are you going to do that every time I do that, are you, Cap?
It's
It's
Toby,
I gotta do the turn.
We gotta do a little bit of. You gotta shake this broadcast up a little bit, I think. Just because if game 2 goes as one-sided as game number 1 was, right? We all saw it. Like, everybody watching, if you were new to Dota, you kind of like could read that first game and be like, well, one team is very far ahead. And unless and if you happen to know that Juggernaut, like, if one team did not have the better late game than the other team, you were just like, well, this is basically, there's no stopping this train, pretty much. NiP are taking game number 1. We could see it the whole entire way through, but, you know, it was just kind of like, well, you kind of have to wait until everybody gets the right amount of farm and all these sorts of things. And this is what a lot of pro players are talking about nowadays with the quote-unquote rubber band mechanics. I never talk about it in game because I feel like it was mitigated to a point where it's not really important. But generally, it is important how the players feel about the game, right? Whether it's true or not, it is important how the players feel about it, and the players feel that, well, it's a little bit scary pushing uphill, so you want to build up as much of an advantage. I think that says more about the uphill mechanics and everything else than anything else, not necessarily the comeback mechanics, but just how dangerous and how hard it is to actually push uphill against the current heroes. Like Sniper, if Sniper's on the NiP, we saw that earlier, Toby. We had that, 85-minute game or something with all the tree protector vision in the world, and it was just like, well, we're facing up against a Sniper with 2 big team fight abilities, Magnus RP and Black Hole. Like, how can you actually? No, it was Sniper was on the.
Sniper's on the other.
That's
team.
right. It was Troll Magnus
was with him.
Yeah, it was Troll Magnus and Enigma. So it was just the team fight abilities.
Yeah,
but
when
it was on the
but
what was on the other side, right? When they were finally able to push out occasionally, they were going up against Sniper.
Yeah.
And like, how could they actually deal with that? So it's just so dangerous to push uphill right now that when teams get an advantage, it takes them a while to be able to consolidate enough of an advantage that they feel confident to push uphill. And that's what the game 1 was all about, was just like consolidating that advantage. NiP were always ahead. Balkan Bears were finding like the occasional pickoff just to make it kind of interesting, but in the end you could see, like, big picture wise, where that game was going. So hopefully they'll be able to shake it up for game number 2. They do have some interesting picks. They go with one of their favorite heroes of all of Balkan Bears, the Earthshaker. So I was just about to mention that the last game made Batrider jump up to their most popular hero, but now with this Earthshaker pick on their team without a Batrider, they will actually make those 2 heroes even for their roster.
I always find it interesting when a team picks a Dazzle into an Axe. Just a
block pick? It's got to be a block pick. I literally, like, I don't think there is, I rarely say block pick. I don't think it's a thing, really, in drafting. But I don't see much of a point for Balkan Bears to have a Dazzle on their team.
Because there's no combo here. It's like if
there's so many other range heroes you could have gotten.
Was it Balkan Bears that tried to do the whole Naga support with the Dazzle? Like, you could do it with Shadow Demon, with like Disruption to Illusions, and then the mass heals. That's one way to do it. But you're going up against an Axe, and Cullion Blade goes through Shallow Grave. So you can basically say that's not going to have a factor. The armor buff up, it's going to be nice, but at the same time, it's a Bristleback and an Axe. These guys are going to try and survive throughout the entire weave, and as long as you're stacking up your quills, you don't really give a crap, because she's still going to burn through the life.
Right.
And Wisp will make sure that both these heroes will be able to survive through the engagement. And now we get our second support from NiP. It's going to be that Lion. So we've got Mana Drain, we've got good control once someone does jump in, be it Clockwork, Cop, or whoever. And one final call from NiP. We're looking for some range disabler, as opposed to just being that straight jump in. Obviously, Axe is a nice controller, Lion's a great disable already. But someone really strong in their laning phase that can just screw with all the movement and timing of BBC.
So we're about to see whether or not Balkan Bears can actually make the Dazzle work with their lineup, because it doesn't have that much strength, and obviously it's countered up by Axe, but at least they prevent what would have been a devastating laning phase. I mean, you look Dazzle Axe as a dual off lane, you've got the Bristle Wisp at bottom. Like, you can't kill those cores ever.
True. But at the same time, you can just run a Bristleback on the safe lane, you can run a Wisp Axe on the off lane. Or even then, you could actually just run the dual lane in mid. Leave Axe on the off, run the Bristleback and the Wisp in the mid, and you can run yourself a safe lane whoever the hell you want.
Oh yeah, they certainly still have options. It just Dazzle would have been the ticking point where Ninjas in Pajamas just would have had too much strength.
Yeah.
Would have been so impossible to. I mean, Queen of Pain already is going to be like, what do I do in this game? Like, how do you deal with
let
these
me
heroes?
first damage
like,
someone. Oh, I can only get the Wisp.
Yeah, like you're aiming for the Wisp, you're aiming for the Lion now, but the Lion is also a counter to the Queen of Pain. Any Hex hero is.
Yep.
So that's going to be rough. I'm not sure what kind of carry they're expecting here for Balkan Bears. Probably a mid-game oriented hero, nothing too special. I think the Gyrocopter was kind of right on the money there. I wouldn't expect a Gyrocopter, but I think it's the right line of thought.
You mean for Balkan Bears?
Yeah.
I'm liking the Wind Ranger ban out because that's where you see Wind Ranger just go into the mid and all of a sudden you've got this surprise amount of damage. I think it was Cloud9 who have been running the Wind Ranger as a solo mid a lot.
One of the few heroes who can also beat Queen of Pain middle as well. So it would have given you...
Cloud9 or was it Alliance? I can't remember. I'll work it out later.
Reserve time.
Probably would have been Alliance.
It sounds more like an Alliance kind of thing. It was a Pike hero. So yeah.
I mean, Fata does play Wind Ranger. He used to be a really good Wind Ranger player back in the day.
It was Pycat who played it, so it was definitely Alliance.
But I think Pycat's more known to be a Wind Ranger player.
Yep. But just seeing that surprise damage coming out when you got two tanks like that, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal.
So what do? I think you want a ranged hero, but do you go like full ranged?
Who else is really left that's a great hero?
I think you need a split pusher, actually.
You could always attempt to try and run
like
a Tinker.
Morphling.
Morphling, yeah. You're running him as #1 core.
You can't go PL, right?
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't?
I was going to say you
or
can't.
You're talking primarily because of Axe and Bristle?
I don't think PL would be a bad hero. It's just like, I think the Axe is just kind of like...
Too much for him.
Yeah, you're just probably going to go, it's not worth it. I'd rather go for like a Morphling or something.
I'm actually still thinking there's Tinker in my mind. Primarily because there's no... Like, Axe has a jump, but he's got no great follow-up unless that's exactly where that Tinker is moving. It's difficult.
It's hard to jump a Tinker when March of the Machines is already out in the field. Glinks, that's a split pusher. That's definitely a split pusher. You needed some kind of squishy hero, but you also didn't want to go like Luna style, right? Because then you're pretty heavily countered. OD now picked up by Ninjas in Pajamas. OD's back, by the way. OD is going to be making a return.
He's real? He's real again?
He's really back, I believe.
How is he really back? What's the strength that he has now that he didn't have before?
It's not necessarily that OD is stronger than he was before. It's more the fact that the play style is starting to go more in the favor of OD. We're going back a little bit to carry mids, and it's all about lane domination, right?
Prepare for battle.
That's why you see heroes like Queen of Pain, Lina, SF. You know, these kind of heroes, they're about lane domination, right? But you're not going Vipers or even necessarily Razors because you want a hero that has a lot of, either in the case of Lina, a lot of solo pick-off potential that determines the mid-game tempo or late-game possibilities, right? SF. Prime example of that. I think OD kind of gives you that lane domination plus a carry. I think it's a bit too greedy for this game, but it certainly ensures that if this game goes past 35 minutes, NiP will win, I believe. I mean, they could have gotten some sort of pusher for the mid, a very aggressive disabler initiating type like Puck or something, and gone to end the game early, but falling back on the OD ensures that if Balkan Bears try and just draw this game out to a point where the Clinks is like a mega split pusher and beats out both Bristle and Axe in fights, the OD is going to be the be-all, end-all of heroes now. He is the hardest carry in this game.
Well, Stevie's going to have himself a great laning phase as we are going to get it underway. The top rune belongs to NiP, and so is the bottom rune, because BBC attempted to come out. Weeha, he's not going to get the grab there. Any damage he does, Hunskin's just going to repair, because he just bought himself a bottle, and a fresh set of tangos are also coming the way of the mid. So Era only had the one set of shared tangos.
How do you give up both bounty runes like that?
It's
completely uncontested.
It's just a lack of confidence in your lane. You want to have the Clockwork already down on bottom so he can do the block, which he'll be successful at to a... Okay, no, he won't be successful at because he can't get him into the corner.
Yeah, it's hard to do sometimes.
He at least got them all, but I think that actually didn't work well for him. And this middle lane, it's... Yeah. I don't know. You just don't want to come down and risk the first death, seems to be all it really was. Also, with something else to note with this matchup in mid, we just saw Era do it then. He didn't imprison onto the Queen of Pain. He imprisoned onto himself when he saw the Shadow Strike flying at him. Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. Existing now trying to bait that out, saying, okay, last time I wasted 110 mana for nothing. Now he's actually trying to bait out the imprisonment by stop spamming it a little bit and seeing if Era will take the bait. But no go so far. And I think that was just a 1 or 2 time thing. As Era starts getting more levels in the imprisonment, especially if you get level 3, you need to actively, offensively imprisonment. Level 1, it's fine, just because it's like, okay, you're gone for a second, you dodge the projectile, and if you used it on the enemy, it wasn't that big of a deal. But
a little bit of a battle right now between Seal Kid as well as Mask. The Cog's going to burn him off, burn him out. With no battery assault, locking himself in with the Lion was purely just so he could do some physical damage. Bristleback's not in the greatest place in the world, but he's got a Wisp with a bottle. He's got no issue with this, and it's the same time as the Wisp wants to go down for the 2-minute rune. So Yabsaw, he's got no way to actually contest this. There's no mana for the Fisher. He's still walking around with 3 Clarities. Doesn't want to use them right now because he's doing the stack, but it means they have to give up the 2-minute rune. Even a double damage rune to boot too. So how's this Clinkz doing? Safe lane Clinkz, 5-2 up against a 5-3 up against a 5-1.
Yeah, he's not actually doing that well. I've watched Weha miss some CS underneath the tower that he probably shouldn't have. I mean, you should get every single CS thanks to Searing Arrows. You hit for 78 damage.
Fish is going to connect over here on Era, but Exist is nowhere near close enough to go for that imprisonment, for that Shadow Strike.
Massacre is going to have a good time in his lane, by the way. I mean, it's a Lion and an Axe. As long as he burns away the mana of the Axe and takes away the Battle Hunger or Call, he should do all right. And we'll see if he survives through this, though.
With no mana for Recall, he's got a chance to survive. But with the Battle Hunger and the movement speed, the physical damage will be enough. In fact, Axe is going to get himself a spin once he hit the creep wave. So first blood goes the way of NiP. The OD's in a lot more trouble in mid, and this will be him dead. The Shadow Strike was doing a lot of tick damage, and Yabsaw finally able to get that fissure at the right time up against the OD.
Great pick off there. I mean, I think that makes up. First blood is picked up for the kill on...
I think... no, there's no mana. Sorry. Weehaw was 1 quill spray away from death.
Yeah, the biggest problem for Balkan Bears is really going to be this dual lane from NiP. It's so strong versus their heroes because they chose for Dazzle, right? Dazzle leaves you exposed to very offensive dual lanes.
Cog's gonna actually survive. Cog's up, so Limp can't get in range, and again, this burn is a pain in the ass for him. Top lane, that's where the kills are coming in. It's gonna be the Earthshaker. The man to get the kill is Levi. Keeps them all alive, as well as himself with a Shallow Grave, meaning that last little bit of a spray from the Bristol was never gonna get the kill. And Whisk couldn't just turn for an engagement, so BBC. A nice little pickup up on top lane. Much needed as well.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that was a total, like, them just being way too offensive on the side of NiP. And they kind of got caught because of that. They really shouldn't die unless it's a supremely good Fisher block. I don't think there's any way that they die unless they're just being overly aggressive. Because this dual lane is so strong. What does a Dazzle really do against you to keep you out? I mean, he's not even going for Poison Touch, and I don't think he should either. It's Poison Touch would be utterly useless in this situation, but it leaves you with all defensive abilities. Your only offensive ability then at that point is a Fisher block. And that's just unlikely to do anything without a good amount of follow-up. So, very unfortunate that for Balkan Bears that NiP did overextend themselves like that, but don't count on it to happen again.
At this point, they're not letting it happen. They're playing a lot more defensive. Same time, I'm really keeping my eyes closed on this bottom lane because Seal Kid, as well as Clockwork, they're battling it out. There's no mana once again for that call from Limp, so we cannot control the Clockwork at all. In fact, now Clockwork's able to pick up the bottle. So Clock's having a really great offlane. Limp he's found a lot of CS here, but the Clock is finding experience, and this is going to be a very, not a very early, but it's at least a good timing on that hook shot, which means Clockwork's able to do so much more when it comes to rotations and catching other players out by surprise.
Yeah, they do know, I think, that the Queen of Pain is bottom lane. It seems like they're sitting pretty far back, not necessarily because of vision. YapzOr's going to be caught here by Era, though. Run down by the OD. He just needs another right click or an imprisonment, and then the right click.
That'll do the job.
Yeah. So Era gets that kill.
It's like committal of an Eclipse to make sure that kill happened, though. Pretty big thing to throw out for just a kill on the Earthshaker.
Yeah, but it's so early on in the game that you'll probably have it up by the next time it's needed. You know, it's one of those high cooldown abilities, but it's like using a black hole to get a kill in lane, right? It's just, you're not going to use it in the next, 2 or 3 minutes anyway, so you might as well try and get the free pick off.
Limp and CLK are going to really regret doing this. Clockwork hook shot in. The Cogs, Axe can't do anything about it. Look for that Sonic Wave. Not going to be available for him just yet, but Limp, he's running back past the Queen of Pain. Sonic Wave is still there. It's not enough damage to kill off the Axe, and he knows it. He needed the Scream as well as Sonic Wave to hit Axe.
Oh, he's going to go top lane with that Haste Rune in hand. He's still got the Sonic Wave ready to go.
Yeah, but Bristleback, he's got so many stacks. The Shallow Grave's going to keep the Dazzle alive. Nice Pitcher block, stopping the Bristleback from getting his last attacks off and including getting that heal damage. So, BBC. Great rotations. They find, again, a full wipe on that dual offlane of NiP.
Yeah, being too over-aggressive again. That should have been called out that she had a Haste Rune by the bottom lane. Like, she didn't pop it, but they should have at least been able to click on the Queen of Pain and see, okay, she's got that red bottle ready to go. Beware of that. But they end up getting caught both bottom lane as well as top by Exist rotation. He's been a player that's been around for a very long time, but nobody says anything about him because he's primarily been a stand-in. He's been a part of these small teams. This is his first team that I think has potential.
We have Silkid for the first time has actually moved up to this top, and he's going to find Levi, and that's probably the bigger thing. With the Impale, it's not anywhere enough damage to get the kill. And Weehaw has managed to jump himself inside that skeleton walk. Sorry, I'll find my tongue by the end of this game, I swear. And somewhere there inside my mouth.
Start doing one of those tongue twisters out of nowhere, Toby.
I just think of
Can you do those, by the way?
My mother makes me munch my M&M's on Monday morning. Yeah, I can do that.
Whoa!
That was not right. There was a creep in front of him, and then the Sonic Wave's blowing as well. Here, he's got 1 second till Sunday Eclipse. It's too long away. The Steel Kick can look for a double stun here, and he's only going to get one. That's over on the Clockwork. At the same time, Axe will arrive. He's just too early, though. Needs a little bit more time to get that Blink Dagger up, or else they maybe could have counter-initiated into that.
Vulcan Bears, they brought the circus into the middle lane. That was a cornucopia of failure. But they brought so many heroes into the middle lane, they still managed to get the kill anyway, so that's nice. Eunice? Weehaw thought about trying to run him down, but no such luck. Yeah, especially with only level 1 Skeleton Walk.
Especially considering he hasn't bought up anything else. It looks like we're looking at a quick hand of Midas build for the Clinks.
Yeah, not terribly surprising, because normally this means you can invade the enemy jungle like full time and just bounce between middle and bottom lane. That'll free up the top lane for probably the Earthshaker to farm up his Blink Dagger. Levy plus the Earthshaker. Again, if they get a really good block, it's potential with the Clinks' raw amount of damage that they get to pick off, but it seems even with the vision down,
they can't get there fast enough.
Yeah, they kind of know what's happening.
Might also want to note too that the Earthshaker. Okay, so it is going to be a Soul Ring for now. Yeah, everything else.
They got Limp ready to go one way, huh?
Oh, that Fisher catches 3 on the back lines. It's going to drop the Shallow Graves there. Culling Blade him. Limp. Okay, he can't see him. That's the reason why he can't Culling Blade him. They don't have any kind of detection there. They will get the Culling Blade over on the Dazzle. As Exist still here, the call's going to happen. There's stuns plus Mad Drains available for Seal Kid as Clockwork jumps himself in. He'll be able to find that pickoff over the line with that Battery Assault going to work there. A 2-on-1 trade-off. As Clinks has managed to TP himself away to safety. Hanskin trying to battle out and stay out of range of YapzOr. I say Clinks TP'd himself away. Now he didn't, and Bristleback wants to chase him down. He managed to get 1 Quill Spray over on him. But without the stack, there's not enough damage to find the kill on the Clinks.
The Clink surviving is huge there. Weehaw managed to survive basically off of Strength Treads. That was the way he lived. He lives with 4 HP.
That rocket from Clockwork almost ended up killing off the Wisp.
Yeah, very close engagement back and forth, it seems.
He's got one in 5 seconds time too. Looks like the Wisp is going to get back. And he'll have to fire the rocket over the top of all the buildings, so there's no way that's going to get the kill. But they might be able to find one over on the bristleback. Weehaw comes out. There's also couriers to kill. He's going to find the courier kill too. And that's a doubler. That's a twofer.
I don't think NiP are very good at changing, like the typical lanes they're good at, but when things change up, they start losing their faith. Era could get bursted down here. They still have the Sonic Wave, and yeah, one shot pretty much. Couldn't do anything about it. The stun duration of the Fissure was just long enough for the double nukes of Exist.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. NiP are having trouble accepting change. Like when the initial plan goes wrong, like they may have a plan B, but they've kind of like lost the paperwork.
I mean, Eunice is a strong offlaner, but I don't think I've ever seen him perform well when they've done any sort of aggro try or weird dual lanes. If the laning phase is different, Eunice seems to fall apart, and I think this is a very good example of this. Their dual lane has been insufferably bad.
Man! It just burns! Yeah. The Dazzle will die at the same time here in mid. Looks like a jump in from the Axe was able to help him get that. But when a Clinks is capable of soloing a bristleback who turns his back to the Clinks as well, that's really problematic for BBC, for NiP.
Relocate up to top lane. They're going to go for the pickoff on Clinks.
Yep, they got the call, so they at least pull him out of this. At the same time, Lion's going to die on the bottom lane. Clockwork hookshot into a battery assault. So it's a 1-1 trade-off, and they've actually found the area with the Echo Slam. They want to get the kill over on Axe. There's no Sonic Wave available, but another Scream in 2 seconds' time will be enough now to end up killing off the Axe. And, well, okay, maybe not. Not while Wisp has ball charges and stick charges available. They have to blink themselves away. Another Scream up in a moment, but it exists dropping so low. The Culling Blade, he actually dummied it the first time because the HP was too high. But it's still going to be a double kill for Limp, and this early aggression from BBC that was paying off now kind of swings back up again the way of NiP.
Yeah, not so much. The Earthshaker, a big part of that was entirely on him. If he had the Fissure on both of those heroes, that's an easy kill. But they kind of messed that one up. Messed up the initiation. Bottom lane, they do get the kill on Masakari. Limp is just running around getting kill after kill.
He only just TP'd down there, finished at the Vanguard, blinks himself in, gets the call, and then Lion, all Sealed Kid has to do is hit Finger of Death, difficult, as well as the Impel. And that was all that was required. They find the kill, but now Era, a little bit of trouble for him. He goes for the imprisonment, and that's exactly what Weehaw was waiting for, but the damage output is not enough in time. Era will TP himself, hilariously enough, to the bottom lane, where he's going to bottle up.
Yeah, exactly. I saw from his position, I was like, that's not a fountain TP.
He's imprisoning. His TP will disjoint, correct, the arrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the imprisonment was exactly for.
Probably dodge shadow poison damage.
Radiant's
okay,
top tower is under attack.
Yeah. Just a little bit of extra damage he doesn't want to deal with.
One with the tree.
But yeah, this is going to be one of those fastest, it's going to be extremely fast Blink Dagger Vanguard. I mean, timing-wise, before 15 minutes is strong, but he got it at like 12 minutes or something like that. And I'm not sure what his next item is going to be. This could be a game for Aghanims. I actually think this is a game for Aghanims. We don't see it as much anymore, but on core Axe, when you do really well in the early laning phase, I think you should go for Axe.
He's going to finish his Crimson Guard first.
Okay, that's fine.
He just bought the entire thing, and it's coming out in the courier.
Fair enough.
But unfortunately for him, there's not enough space for everything.
I'm not sure if there's enough right-click damage to really...
They're jumping. They got the call over on Dazzle. This OD ult is available, and 3 heroes pretty well grouped up together. Levi's already pretty damn low. Shallow Grave obviously realizes no point. He's going to get the weave off. It's going to hurt the NiP heroes, but not help his own. Considering his own, he's already lost 2. Exist running himself away. He was actually the only hero.
Weehaw getting the pick off on Hans, getting the bottom lane, but maybe not. He now turns to fight Eunice. He's going to win this engagement too. Wow. The strength of the Clinks, man. He's actually having to deal with creeps right now, but...
I don't know if Hanskin really wants to be anywhere near. He's going to try for the kill with the balls.
By the way, this build on Clinks is super abnormal.
Oh, Hanskin, no.
Yeah, don't die to Roshan.
Yeah. I think he was ready to go with Limp if he was going to blink himself up and go for Weehaw.
Nobody really does this builds. Maxed out Strafe? I mean, you sometimes see 0-4-4 builds on Clinks more often than you see 4-4-1 builds. Right? Most people only get 1 level in strafes because 4 seconds is good enough. Like, when you've got an Orchid, 4 seconds is good enough to lay out enough damage that the Orchid will kill the hero. But he goes maxed out. Like, not just a 1 extra level, not just 2 extra levels, maxed out all the way to 10 seconds before he gets the extra movement speed out of Skeleton Walk, which a lot of people value. Weha clearly not agreeing with them.
I can understand it when you're going up against heroes like Axe as well as Bristleback, where you know you got so much HP to remove from them. You just need the time more than anything else. So I can understand just having the extra 6 seconds. Yapsor, a little bit of trouble for him in mid. There's Johannes trying to dive in as deep as he possibly can with the nasal goo and the sprays. Going to get a 3-3 stack on both of those. Yabsor was given a couple of bola charges now, as well as having his stick charges, which the Bristleback was quite happy to feed him.
Oh, careful. They're going to start diving in. Clockwork.
It goes over for Lion, and Lion with the Hex, he can't get it off. The battery assault's getting on killing off Sealkin, while Yapsor behind the tier 1 tower dunked down, so it's a 1 support for 1 support. The Crimson Guard giving NiP a little bit more confidence to do what they did. But at the same time, Clinks, you talked about him being a nice split pusher. It's that strafe and searing arrows that lets him do the work, and with the cogs pushing back the axe, he can't even blink up to go for the kill. Wisp relocated up here to try and help him out. Now with the Sonic Wave era getting hit so hard. The Dazzle also to the front lines. The imprisonment did still go off on Exist, so he couldn't instantly move over to try and battle up against his Bristleback. But with Levi having, okay, well that Weave effect's going to wear off, but Hanskin too deep. Exist blinks himself out again. Levi with the Shallow Grave, worried for getting another spray on top. Not to mention Limp around the corner. There's your Culling Blade. But here's he now too far up. The Cogs and the Fissure making sure he cannot move anywhere. But then again, Exist, jump in. Have they gotten up? There's the stuns. He is trying to stop the Culling Blade from coming down top of Weeha, who's still going to die at this Battle Hunger. He doesn't have enough life. 20. Oh, he does.
Oh, just barely got the last hit to kill the Battle Hunger in time. Super close. That's twice now that Weha survived with 20 HP or lower from Battle Hunger. But yeah, Balkan Bears certainly doing quite well in this game. It seems the abnormal rotations, NiP are having a hard time adjusting to it. I don't think Crimson Guard was the item. I really don't. Balkan Bears, I don't think Crimson Guard was good enough versus this team anyway. There's only so many right clickers. You know, the most right clicks are coming out from Clinks, and his damage is so overwhelming, and a lot of it comes out from Searing Arrows, that the Crimson Guard damage mitigation is going to be very minimal compared to how much DPS Clinks is outputting, right? So, like, he's hitting for 200 damage a hit, and you block 40 damage, or whatever Crimson Guard is. I actually don't remember. Yeah, 40 damage. It's not actually going to make that much of a difference. Right, and the rest of the heroes from BBC, like Earthshaker doesn't right-click, Clockwork only right-clicks occasionally, Queen of Pain does do some right-clicking, but it's not a whole lot, and Dazzle doesn't do any. So I think Crimson Guard wasn't a strong item against this team anyway, but then on top of that, it's more of a team fight item, and Balkan Bears I don't think are going to be doing much team fighting. They're going to be split pushing you and forcing you to split up, where the Clinks then, the Clinks and Queen of Pain take that opportunity to get easy 2v2 or 3v3 fights.
And if they do take you with a team fight, it happens like what happened in mid. It's underneath their tier 1 towers where they feel a little bit more security. They could take the fight and then bring in more reinforcements straight away.
Even that fight was really split, right? Because they went top lane to deal with Weha first, and then the fight commenced in middle.
I don't know if Whisper's dead from that Orchid trigger.
Nah,
nope. He'll survive.
Nice stack for Eunice, though. Yeah. Another Van... That's also a weird thing. How does Vanguard and Crimson Guard interact? Does anybody know?
I don't know. All I know is Akuri just got sniped off, and a nice Clockwork hookshot with the Fissure. The Bristleback's going to die. All he wanted to do is get that stack. But now they might be able to get some kind of revenge over on the Clockwork. He's got 17 one-charges available, but no real teammate support there. They're going to Culling Blade him down, ending the dominating spree that did belong to the Clockwork. And they found another target too. Sentry Wards are scouting out Weeha on the high ground, which is why they're not going on the Dazzle.
Waiting for that free pickoff. Exist knows that the Lion is low enough to kill him with just Sonic Wave.
Looks like they're going to go on Limp. That first attack didn't really hit his target though. Limp is pretty low, but they let off the guard, and now Exist gets caught out well behind the tier 1 tower. And the relocate, well, it's taking Axe all the way back to base. which actually kind of means that Yabso's got something to work with. He ends up killing off the line with the Echo Slam. And Era, okay, he'll bring the hammer to ensure the kill.
That was so close, though. Yabso, a really great reaction from Era. But Yabso was just like, you know that scene from Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, right, where that one orc with the explosives is just charging in. He's just running in, and they're like,
take him down, Legolas! Take him down!
Right? And he's just like, that's what Yabso was doing right there, man. He was that orc. He was just like running in. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I see the Echo Slam, and all of a sudden the imprisonment comes out.
Clock, nice hook shot in. With the orc, and OD's in trouble. They try and burn as much mana as possible. These arrows aren't gonna do enough damage to get the kill on OD.
Misplay from Masakari, I would say.
Maybe if he pushed the OD up this direction, it might have been a little bit more useful.
Yeah, if he pushed him towards the Clinks, it's fine. If you push him any other direction, I don't think it was the right play.
We need at least another 3 arrows to ensure that kill on OD.
I mean, at least you lock him inside the cogs, you get a little bit more battery assault damage, plus when you force staffs, he's still going to be kind of in range. Like, he's still going to hit himself on cogs too, so...
Oh, hello, Seal Kid. Is there enough? There's the stun. 4-staff down, the battery assault, and the cogs block out. Era is trying to get in range for the 4-staff, able to do so. So Seal Kid backs up, but now they jump onto Clockwork. But Clockwork's armor is rising rapidly because of that weave. So they know the physical damage won't really do much. I'm also keeping tabs over on Weeha, who's about to have a crack over on the bristleback, but he's got help in the trees. Hanskin, sorry, is waiting here.
Oh, does he know? I think he knows.
He's feeling something is wrong. There's no way he's up this far. Actually, no, he just moved into the tree line.
For a second skeleton walk, his was running out.
Yep. He also doesn't have a death pact.
That's problematic for a Clinks.
It doesn't have a big creep on the side either to use.
Bottom tower will be denied. Masakari tries to intercept.
He wants to try and have a crack at this. He's got support around him. Battery assault.
Nice.
They push the axe out. The 4-star from the OD, as well as Era. The fish is going to block out axe. The other two TP out to safety, but the axe the one in trouble. The weave. Well, I suppose at the same time he was up before you. He was flagged as 47 armor at one point. But now Exist just needs to keep that distance. The relocate came in. Limp's on the run out here. Now he's -3 with the fissure. Limp's going to drop down, and the Wisp relocate just in time to drag it back up. But Clink's waiting with open arms until now Jonas wants to have a crack over at Weeha, but Exist stops him from the Quill Spray. So it's all up to the physical DPS, which is enough to kill off the Clinks. But that means Exist gets a solo kill out. The battle isn't finished just yet. Yep, Era imprisons over on the Clockwork. There's no hook shot available. And Era, he does have that Eclipse up. But there's no way, he doesn't have enough support with just Seal Kid here to take a fight up against BBC.
Blink Dagger now for the Clinks. Pretty standard builds ever since Eternal Envy popularized it. As you don't want to be moving as the Clinks, right? During your strafe timing, especially if you only have one level of it, it's so important that you don't want to be trying to move around in order to dodge heroes, whether it's to catch up with them or get away from aggressive ones. So the quick blink, similar to having it on Sniper, allows you to just continually right-click without having to worry about the menial things like walking.
This weave is such a crazy ability. The Dazzle is over here, and he's able to cast into this region. No risk at all. Let's do some trivia while they're back. So, which player is the highest average damage per cast with Sanity's Eclipse? Minimum 5 games. Hint: Southeast Asian player, also not Mushi.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
This is
that's been so long since OD has been run, so I couldn't even.
Yeah.
I don't even want to guess that.
Who is? Well, I would go back to Titan. I reckon Titan would probably be one of the teams where they would have enough damage for it. Who was their OD player from Titan?
I would watch Weha first.
Yeah,
he's going on Era.
Kill Era. And Era's got nothing to do here. He's already been screamed to Shadow Strike down. The Hex will be there from Seal Kid, but Yabsaw, no Fissure, 3 seconds on cooldown for him, but the Weave is already kicking in once again. So the armor from Bristleback's being removed. They find Limp, but there's your hook shot. So they keep Johannes controlled, while that relocate is coming in from Hanskin, trying to actually help out Limp. He's going to get Echo Slammed down. Exists managed to find a double kill in the meantime. That Crimson Guard protecting the IO, but Yabsaw, another totem is available. It's a triple kill for Exist, and NiP being pounded into the tree line. Limp unable to get that correct blink off, so Yabsaw lines up for the fissure. He's going to throw it out, holding Axe there, and the rest of his team out as we are hoping to stop missing uphill. But it doesn't matter. BBC will get a full team wipe up against NiP.
Well done, Balkan Bears. I think they've got this game in the bag now. I mean, it was already looking pretty good for them the last 5 minutes, but that team wipe essentially gives them probably the next 10 minutes lead, because they're going to use this to take Roshan. They get the Aegis, they take tier 2s with the Aegis, etc., etc. This also means Blink Dagger for YapZor, so no more charging in like the Orc. He will actually be able to get in the middle of the fight quickly and quietly.
Yeah, it was kind of like the only place that player would have played. I'm actually thinking it was Yamate. Is where my mind goes for the trivia. Nope. Okay, I get to be wrong.
Aghanims for the Queen of Pain means that
if it's KYXY, I'm just gonna laugh my ass off. There's no way that the way we should remember him is through an OD Eclipse damage stat. Better things to remember him for.
Did you see that thread about the most embarrassing pro player moments?
I actually haven't. Was there a video attached?
No, it was just,
I'm not attached.
it was just somebody asking, you know, what are the most embarrassing moments for pro players?
The top one would have had to be KOX,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Aegis at TI. Like that would have to be pretty much #1.
Congratulations, though. Like it's so sad comparing it now. Like Southeast Asia has fallen so low in the tiers of international professional teams.
Well, they used
right?
to
Like,
be
that was
up
the
there
one
at #2,
time.
like right behind China. They used to be #2 at Dota 1.
Yeah. And now, like nowadays, that was the one time that a Southeast Asian team could have made it into TI finals. And it was literally denied.
Yeah. Definitely exploring the history book of Dota 2, that's something he would also like to forget.
Yep.
But unfortunately, that's not the way the internet works. Everyone will remind you of all the stupid crap you did at one point. You can never live it down. And the second you think you can, there'll be reference marks. Looks like we've got a hook shot down the bottom lane. They found Limp out of position. With the Orchid, he at least has the Crimson Guard protecting him, but it won't protect you from that. That's an Aghanim's ulti from the Queen of Pain now. So we'll be back off cooldown shortly. They at least managed to get NiP up on the top, taking out the tier 1, and now they're looking for the tier 2 tower. OD will have to TP back in a moment. Doesn't have enough money to buy the full Scythe of Ice yet. But at the same time, Brustback's finished up his SMY.
You can't beat a Clinks when it comes to pushing, though. Anything else is too much damage. So they try with the Bristleback, but they have to come back to defend tier 3.
We has beaten through it. There's your Hex from Seal Kip. He's going to get Orchided, Fissured, and no Blink Sonic. Exist holds on to it. They just want to force NiP to come out of their base, or at least into a better position that Clockwork can get a great hook shot. That's the goal. You also have Weave coming off cooldown now for Levi.
Oh, the
and
bait.
Weeha, they need to keep him alive. The Shadow Grave's going to be there, and the Ag's still dead. Whoa! And Sonic Wave Line didn't stand a chance. The Clinks is still alive and kicking. Moving back as far as he can. Even with all the armor in the world, that's not going to protect you. The mid tower will be denied up by OD.
Yeah, finally, yeah, they take away that tier 3 tower, and that's really all that Balkan Bears wanted out of that.
I'm guessing no one inside the chat got it.
Yeah.
Technically, we could have just started listing all the Titan players.
Yeah, KYXY was a really good OD player, but.
Alright, so DD runes up for BBC. Roshan is obviously a long way away. They did manage to hold on to the Aegis with the Clink, so if BBC want to, they can go pick up the DD rune and then just try and attack again down the mid. Because their teamfights can be so powerful. The Dire Observer Ward's watching Axe move up, so they've got really great vision of where NiP is going. And NiP have no idea about this. They don't have a gem, they don't have any kind of detection. So BBC have all the information in the world they require to take this fight. Apart from knowing that Era has now picked up that sacrifice. That is unknown to them.
That's definitely a big pickup. I mean, that increases your team fight potential by a lot. A big intelligence upgrade for his Sanity's Eclipse. Woo!
That's a hookshot attempt over to Jonas. Maybe they do have an opening now. That Orc is still available here from Exist. He's holding on to it. And there's your Blink Echo Slam from Yapsor. Catching out Era with the Sonic Wave. She pushed him back again. This Cogs attack not working properly. A Sanity Eclipse is going to be dropped by OD. He waited a little bit longer. And BBC, they've lost two. They're about to lose a third with the Orb attack. But no, OD can't finish the job. Clinks is still there now. Going to battle up against the Brustback as I'm hearing a call and dunk to finally bring down that Dazzle. And it looks like BBC will be coming off worse for wear for this fight. Limp has got Blink Call in just a moment.
Nice
and
play.
Now he actually played it out perfectly.
Beautiful.
Weeha ran east, then double-backed west.
It's the kind of individual outplay that you would expect from and this is not supposed to be a derogatory term, but from a pub star player like Weeha.
I think you'll be okay with that title.
Yeah. So, Aegis is burned, though. Which is a bit unfortunate. That team fight was so close. I mean, that was really great initiation from Balkan Bears. It just kind of all got tilted just the wrong way, slightly. They start off going on the Wisp, couldn't quite finish him off. The Echo Slam and everything being laid onto the Orchided up OD. It was the right idea from Weeha, especially. Like, Orchiding up the OD and then going on the Wisp, but then he got hexed up.
Yeah.
Yapsor came in to try and go on the OD because the Wisp was already too far away. Good idea, but then got intercepted by a lot of the Axe and Bristleback, drawing damage.
And the end result, actually, I haven't even brought this thing up for a while now. But our net worth is still going the way of BBC. 8,000, they'd lose a little bit out that last fight to NiP. But this game is still theirs to sort of lose. I don't want to say it's in the bag for BBC because really there's still so much of this lineup which could just tail off and have little to no effect. Up against heroes like OD, Bristle, and Axe, there's just great initiation from NiP, great tank ability, and their team fight's quite scary. Where BBC, if they can keep finding these pickoffs, then they're really good. If they can keep fighting NiP outside their base with the numbers going their way, BBC could and should be able to finish this game. I doubt NiP is going to give you that option.
It's unfortunate, but Weeha had to go back for the BKB. Nice play from Levy there. He might actually survive because of that.
Yeah, the movement speed is still going to be a murder. Okay, when the fidget comes out from Yapsor.
Yeah, that was very quick reactions by him. He Yule Scepter preemptively onto the Axe. Because you saw him actually turn around to Yule Scepter, and then the Axe blinked in front of him, so the Dazzle was like, oh, well, there you are. I don't even have to turn around now.
Top tower is under attack.
So gets that free Yule Scepter. They've got some pretty big upgrades. I mean, I would say Balkan Bears are definitely set in the same position that would call from the draft, which is like second Roshan. They need to end the game or at least take down a lane of Rax by then. At the same time, I am kind of impressed that there is Balkan Bears getting a lot of farm on all of their heroes. Right, so the Aghanims now finish up on the Clockwork. You know, that's a significant, like, kind of utility. It's not the biggest amount of damage, but it is kind of utility interruption that is going to be increased for their fight. But it's also Levy getting an Aghanim Scepter after the Yule Scepter. That is an impressive amount of farm on a Dazzle. The Aghanim's upgrade on Weave is not to be messed with. That is actually a very important upgrade. Increases the tick armor by 0.5.
Haste.
So every 2 seconds, it's an extra -1 armor, which means a lot when these fights are going to draw out for 10 seconds plus.
Clockwork, out as quick as he can, but it's not quick enough. The blink here from Limp with the call. And then into the dunk means the Clockwork's going to drop.
I said good day, sir.
Well, those sort of things can't afford to happen because look what NiP would do.
Yep.
They're going to check on Roshan and see if Roshan's up. Unfortunately for them, it's not up for another 10 seconds.
Yeah, the timing's a little bit off. Careful with your bottles on the ground when you get a Clinks on the field.
But with the way Balkan Bears were kind of controlling this game, they should have had the lead to take Roshan. Whoa! I mean, it's still a kill, but...
Yeah, not exactly what you want to be doing. Blink, trees, TP, quickly, and Blink again for the Axe. It's the second time now Limp's going to find himself a kill. Just a perfect play. And the relocate back up again. Means they can, okay, there's no Ancients to clean off. Definitely looking for, well, where are they headed to? We got Weeha and Limp basically standing right on top of each other, and Limp Okay, Yule set it up in front of the courier. Hunskin already going to be brought down by Weehar at the back lines. He was underneath that sentry wall. It's not going to help him. Now Era with that BKB over on Weehar. The call's still going to be able to control him. As Levi, he's in the neighborhood. Second BKB going to be triggered from the Axe. Blink in 1 second time to go for that call. And this should be the death of the
nice
Dazzle.
juke.
He's going to miss the call, miss the Culling Blade timing as well. But it won't matter when a Bristleback is running around with the double damage rune.
Yeah, it's getting kind of silly. Balkan Bears are just... Again, their lineup should still have the strength, should still have the control right now in this game. It should be NiP basically 10 minutes from taking over the game. And Balkan Bears are just giving away these small little free pickoffs that almost lose their hands to Roshan. Like, if NiP had actually been able to go into the Roshan pit and Roshan was there, they would have taken it. Because they had a DD as well. Without the clockwork, I don't think there's any way you can test a Roshan fight. But Balkan Bears are lucky in that regard. They'll still get Aegis into their hands, which is essential for them being able to push down that one lane of Rax. Because there's a very high chance that Klinks gets bursted in his first life.
And he's the man that's going to be taking the Aegis, puts the Soul Ring on the ground for himself. And has that second life. Well, the rest of NiP, now what do you do at this point? You know you're going up against that Academ's upgraded Dazzle. It's not level 3 on the ultimate yet, but still level 2 Ag's upgrade is still quite powerful for Levi. Do you try and 5-man it through, or do you do this 3-man, 2-man split with the Wisp plus Bristleback on the sideline?
I'll tell you exactly what you should do
okay,
right now,
tell
Toby.
me. Lay it on me, Cap.
Put a stopwatch off. 90 seconds. Tick, 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 tick. 90 seconds. If Balkan Bears have not, and I say 90 seconds because this is actually a very specific time, it's about the time that you're going to need for Balkan Bears to group up, go for a smoke gank, and fail the smoke gank, and then go for a push. If in 90 seconds they have not utilized the smoke gank, if they haven't 5-man down middle, then you go for a smoke yourself and go for a pickoff. It means that basically Balkan Bears need to farm a little bit more before they go for the 5-man push. Is basically what's that saying. And it seems Balkan Bears are not
Dire's top tower is under attack.
going to do that farming.
They just tried to 5-man smoke, get a pick off,
Yeah.
and then go straight through mid. They want to bring down the mid racks. That's
So they
the objective
failed their
in
smoke
mind.
gank. They failed their smoke gank. Now they're going to go for that 5-man push that I was talking about. So because they're doing that, NiP just go for split push.
Yep.
They eventually have to play defense, but they split push as much as possible.
Just bring back 3 and let the Wisp and Bristleback beat into the tier 3 tower on the top. You've got fortification available. You'll obviously have to do this when the Klinks just turns on strafe. And if you can force some kind of fallback from BBC, then you're kind of successful. The sentry ward's down, so they can see when Weehar's going to move in close. Then again, are they walking around? Yeah, there's a gem on the Earthshaker. Hence, they can see that sentry ward. Missing uphill Levi. And again, at least Exist can now come in and do it. Want something done right, do it yourself.
They need to start threatening these buildings. Weeha finally comes in, going for the range tracks. They at least force out the glyph.
Jump. Call. Misses the timing. That blink from Weehar's too quick. As they now de-ward the Obs ward. But their de-ward is going to be de-warded because the Absol's got the gem. This top player still bought time. Johannes is still pushing in.
Yeah, the tier 3 hasn't been threatened yet, but it's about to. This next weave timing. Like, the next reap wave's going to come in right as weave is really hit like a critical point. And at that point, Balkan Bears should go all in for the building. Like, at the very least, the Klinks on the front line's going for it. I'm honestly not sure why they don't.
Man, look at that armor on Limp. Holy.
They've
They've actually managed to remove 30, 31, 33, 34.
Yeah, but now it's
points
gone.
of armor. Yep. When he jumps in at the exact same time as it disappears. But Exist, well, he tries to have his crack. Quick battle hunger off, but Weeha knows what he's here for. Then again, he's attacking into the melee racks, not finishing off the range. Getting a kill on even one of these buildings is still worth it, and you haven't managed to bring back the Bristleback. He's still battling up on this top lane, keeping that pressure in.
Yeah, he did a little bit of damage to that tier 3 tower. They need to get the next weave going. That way they feel comfortable pushing uphill because NiP are unlikely to fight into
There's the weave. That's perfect. That was 3 heroes caught out by that. With a fissure, Axe, they're going to start beating into him already. And the hook shot
jump in,
well.
Monster grabs 2. Oh, the Echo Slam on 3. Beautiful setup from Yapzor.
And that Sonic Wave hit nicely as well. Era so low on life. The Orchid, it should be popping him right now, which it will do so. But where are our buybacks? One to come out from the OD. Johannes trying to hold the Clockwork as well as the rest of BBC out by himself. That mid-range ranks is down, but where's the follow-up? OD, he's got an imprisonment. Trying to keep BBC back and fighting, and Exist will be quite happy to oblige. The Fissure is too far away. And Weeha can't catch up to him. There's that blink in from him. Maybe they can catch up with the Scream. That's a dieback, and that may even be the GG call here as they find Johannes too far out. Perfect hook shot in. The Bristleback will buy back in. But they should still have enough time here, BBC, to not only take the mid-racks, but also take out bottom.
Especially because Levy didn't TP back, he faked it. And Jonas ran away going, oh, I can't stop you. But then Levy was like, nope, JK. I come back, and now I'm going to heal up my allies. Another dieback.
This is over. They can just even go for the tier 4 towers now with the damage there from Weeha, and he knows it. There's not enough damage to kill off the Lion. Instead, though, they're going to move to the bottom lane, so they go with the safety and Raxus.
Yeah, I mean, even if they can't actually end the game at this point, you can still say, in a sense, that it is kind of GG because NiP just crippled themselves so heavily with 2 different diebacks on their core heroes. That is such a massive net worth loss and loss of control that Balkan Bears, sure, they take 2 sets of Rex. Technically, you're still in this game, but you've just been crippled so heavily that you can't fight back.
Axe trying to go for this jump in. That weave was a defensive one, so their armor is just so high. He's looking for that last little culling blade to kill off the Clockwork, but he just can't reach him, while Weeha is having an absolute party inside the base, killing off the Wisp and Lib. Okay, this, if it's not over now, I don't know when it's possibly over. You've lost everyone. GG, well played. Yeah. BBC will end up making this game a 1-1 result. But NiP's night is not over yet. They have their last opponent to face up against our next 2-game series, which is coming up after the short break. They're up against the new roster of Na'Vi.
Yeah, NiP. I think what we learned about this is, well, first of all, their dual lane, which should have been so strong, was overly aggressive, lost some control there. I'm not sure if they just came into this game with so much confidence that they assumed, oh, this is going to be easy, you know, and then they just end up feeding away. But it seems like, one, NiP are not necessarily set up to do kind of those atypical lanes, right? So I think that was a big part. Balkan Bears also showed a lot of strength. I think the Klink's last pick was a brilliant one because you needed something that would kite around the Bristleback and the Axe, but still needed to output a high amount of DPS and also was a split pusher, right? Morphling did most of those things.
Yeah.
But not to the same kind of strength, especially the split pushing aspect, which is very important. So I really like the Klink's pickup. I think that was brilliant. You know, Morphling was just kind of like the hero that was the best I could think of at that point. Yeah. Klink's was a really good call by Yapzor. I think that was
Klink's really paid off though because the success they had up against the Wisp and the Bristleback.
Yes, for sure.
When you're able to kill that dual lane off lane 2 times in a row and you get both the heroes at the same time, then you realize the Klink's has all the space in the world. The Bristleback was still quite useful during a lot of the fights, but at the same time, it wasn't about how useful the Bristleback was. It was the timing on the core heroes of BBC. That's where they found their openings. Klink's finishing the only one up at level 25 at the end of that. It was just, it was Klink's, it was Quap. Rotations were good. The Clockwork timing, I think I also want to praise right there. His hookshot timing was really good. His control over heroes like Axe, getting solo kills down the Lion, that opened up a lot more space on the map for BBC to function.
Yeah, I mean, NiP were definitely, I think they were still, like, showcasing that they were kind of the stronger team in the early laning phase. Like, if you just, like, took away that off lane that was kind of feeding away kills, they were still keeping the net worth and experience even. It wasn't only until they finally came into that one big fight that they had where it was, they were already getting
tier 1 tower in mid.
Yeah, they were getting pick off after pick off, and then they completely wiped NiP and didn't lose anybody, went back and took Roshan. Like, that was where the game just, like, completely fell into the hands of NiP. But they won that fight primarily because the Klink's got pretty fed. Despite the fact that NiP were keeping the overall net worth even, Klink's was just too big at that point in time, wiped the floor with them.
Yeah.
And in general, I think you can say Balkan Bears are a pretty innovative team in that regard, in that they were able to pull out the Klink's where most other teams wouldn't think of it there.
Oh, well, congratulations to BBC. They go 1-1, but our series is not over. As I said, it is now NiP's time to go up against the second opponent of the night. They'll be going up against Nautis of Enseri. That is the next opponent, so stay tuned. We'll be back.